explain Operation Peace Spring, Turkey's Foreign Minister, Mevlut Cavusoglu.
For instance, YPGPKK is engaged to defeat Daesh, but it fought Daesh only for tactical reasons to pursue its separatist agenda. So before talking about Operation Peace Spring, let me tell you what we want. What does Turkey want in Syria? First of all, Turkey supports the political process very strongly, and there is no military solution. And we believe that Syrian conflict can only be resolved politically. And vital role as Astana guarantors, we will continue our effort. And our efforts to reach a political settlement in Syria has been bearing fruits. Constitutional Committee has been just established, and the first meeting of the committee will be convened in Geneva at the end of this month, 30th of October. And for a political settlement, we need to maintain the calm, ceasefire on the ground. And that is exactly what we have been trying to do in Idlib. And we have avoided another humanitarian disaster at the same time. And we have been monitoring de-escalation with 12 observer posts on the ground. Fight against terrorism is actually what we are doing in Syria successfully. Through Operation Euphrates Shield against Daesh, we eliminated many Daesh terrorists, and we cleaned 2,000 square kilometer area from this bloody terrorist organization. And through Operation Olive Branch, which was against YPGPKK terrorists, another 2,000 square kilometers were cleaned, and now many people are able to return. And another aim of Turkey has been to create a safe zone at the other side of our border in Syria. Why? First of all, national security is vitally important for our nation, and we have to clean our borders from terrorists. And secondly, we are laying ground for safe and voluntary returns. And I just mentioned that many people, more than 360,000 Syrians from Turkey, have been returned to those two areas we cleaned from terrorist elements. And why did we start the Operation Peace Spring? How did we come to that stage? PYD-YPG became stronger each day and increased its attacks towards Turkey and establishing a de facto terror state in particularly northeastern part of Syria. And forget about the collecting the heavy weapons, despite our request repeatedly from our allies. Some allies, mainly the United States, continue to provide additional arms even after the defeat of Daesh. So why our allies and United States provided weapons to our terrorist organization after the defeat of Daesh? And also, YPG-PKK oppressed all the local people without any discrimination, including maybe mainly Kurds in Syria, and Arabs, Christian minorities, and Turkmens as well. So we decided to start a third operation months ago. But Trump administration requested, Trump himself actually requested Erdogan to work together to establish the safe zone. This creating safe zone was the has been the idea of President Erdogan for many years. And we tried to work with the United States to create a safe zone with goodwill, yet it failed. U.S. security establishment didn't fulfill its promises, didn't fulfill their president's instructions. And what we saw that on the ground, there was no withdrawal of YPG, and the weapons of YPG were not collected, and additionally, more and more weapons provided to YPG. Can you imagine that while we were working on the ground with the U.S. to create a safe zone, on the other hand, U.S. continued providing weapons to this YPG. Forget about collecting the existing one. And we had another bad experience, unfortunately, it was Mevlut. And immediately after we started the operation, we informed everybody, United Nations, P5, NATO, EU, OECD, Council of Europe, Iran, regime, and we briefed Arabs and EU ambassadors in Ankara, and President Erdogan made several phone calls to reach his counterparts. I, as the foreign minister, actually spoke with many my colleagues in different countries and also on other levels. And first, eliminate the terror. The terrorists at the other side of our border, which has been posing threat to our national security. And enforce Syrians' territorial integrity, which we are very much committed to. And the aim of this terrorist organization, actually, and the countries who were supporting this terrorist organization was to divide Syria and to create a terror state along our border. And we had to liberate local people that I just mentioned, oppressed by YPG and from this terrorist organization. And also our aim has been to lay ground for safe and voluntary returns. And Operation Peace Spring, I have to emphasize here, has been limited and proportionate. Only terrorists are targeted, and utmost care is given not to harm civilians in Syria. And we have a strong track record in Afrin, in Elbab and Jarablus. If you compare Afrin and Raqqa, what happened in Raqqa, you see, and somebody has to remind that millions of Kurds happily living as proud citizens of Turkey. And YPG doesn't represent Kurds. YPGPKK equal Kurds is an insult to our Kurdish brothers and sisters. And you have seen what Trump also said. PKK is worse than Daesh. For us, they are the same. They are the same terrorist organization, maybe with different ideologies. And we are committed to, we are not invading this country. We are committed to territorial integrity of Syria more than anybody else. And this is also important for the stability in our region. And we have no plans to modify the demographics in the region. Actually, it is YPG that tried to change the demographic structure. And few terrorists, with the support of Kurds, are ready to go back, and they will go back to their homes. So everybody will go back to their homes, and we need to provide their basic, their basic needs when they go back. And fight against Daesh will continue. We are so determined. I just share some figures with you. And first and foremost, Daesh is our enemy. You can remember how many times we have been targeted in Istanbul, in Gaziantep, in Ankara, and elsewhere. We lost many people. And we have been fighting Daesh in Iraq, in Syria, and in Turkey. And we have captured many, many Daesh terrorists. Many of them are in our prisons. Many of them are waiting to go back their source. That Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons denied reports of investigation. and we are committed to international agreements, and no such weapons in our inventory. Nevertheless, whatever the claim is, we actually take it very serious. Operation, we have received more than 1,081 rockets and mortars to cities, our cities, and we lost 20 civilians, including babies and kids, and around 200 citizens, wounded, and we have so far 4 martyrs. Then, what is all the fuss about? I just mentioned, because we have ruined the game plan. They were trying to establish a de facto terror state on our borders. And now this game is over. That's why we have seen this much noise from all over the world. We didn't see this much noise when we actually started our Operation Olive Branch.